The only KPIs that I care about that are tracked every single month is.
But I feel like it's kind of rare in our space, especially, that people are building real teams and putting that same caliber of effort into the sales piece. And I definitely haven't done that at all. There's no cold callers. There's no SDRs. Do you feel like that's a big problem in the agency space when it comes to hindering your ability to scale quickly?
Your level of training, management, player coaching, call audits, every single day needs to be there because.
And if you suck at sales and that's something you've been kicking the can down the road and you're just delegating to your team to hopefully scale your company, I think you're a bit of a puss.
Ooh.
I said it, bro.
What is good, everyone? It is March 1st. Happy first of the month. Another Black Sheep Agency podcast coming at you. Got Hayden, Hunter, and today we want to talk about what it takes to build a sales team that is actually going to scale your agency and hit KPI. I just want to start with a story about Digital Aux and how we basically had a really good closer in 2023. And that closer was putting numbers on the board. Obviously, I trained him up pretty quickly within like 4 or 5 weeks because I took him from, where'd I take him from? That really big email marketing company. Active Campaign. He was a top 8, Active. So he knew his shit. He knew about marketing. He was a G. Shout out to you, Kyle Pogue. Rushed all 2023, and then just like business, how business shit happens, he got sniped. He got, someone recruited him from us. And so from that point, 2024, we realized, oh shit, like we got to make some moves here. And so long story short, our sales started to go down because we realized that the new closers we had on just weren't ramped up yet to keep that pace of scale. And so this is where I brought Hunter in. Shout out to you, Hunter. We've been working relentlessly every single goddamn day on this sales department. At first, it was painful because we realized, dude, the fucking sales are down. Like, what are we fucking doing? But then it was like a beautiful epiphany of like, this is our opportunity to like really build up a strong sales team with more than one closer so that we never have key man risk like that again. And this is what it's gonna take to get to 8 figures. We do need a solid army on that front end sales team, not a mediocre team, something that is super high caliber. And so we're going to be talking about sales teams today.
Let's get into it.
All right, guys. So first I want to talk about the whole player coach analogy. Player coach analogy, I took it from Cole Gordon. He named it player coach, but this is something that we were doing already. It was just our instincts. And that was when you currently have a closer in taking all inbound, taking all outbound, and they're not quite ramped up yet to KPI, meaning their close rates aren't where they need to be, which means you are losing deals and revenue. If you're the CEO, what it takes is you have to get your ass in there if you are the sales type and make sure you are also taking calls so that your revenue is still maintaining. And a lot of those calls are going to be used to train your current closer in AE as fast as possible. So this is like a double fucking whammy of management and taking calls and breaking calls down, creating SOPs, and realizing this is what it's going to take to like take someone as fast as possible from a 5 to a 6, a 6 to a 7, a 7 to a 7.8, and preferably get them up to a 9 as fast as possible. So, Hunter, what kind of, you've been in the trenches with us.
I think number one, just to get a holistic view, I think if you're a founder of your agency and you have no sales skills, I think you will never have full control over your business. This is why I love player coaches and I love founders that are really sales inclined, because now you have like full control over your business. And if you suck at sales and that's something you've been kicking the can down the road and you're just delegating to your team to hopefully scale your company, I think you're a bit of a puss. But
Ooh.
I said it, bro.
That's a shot at me because I don't do any sales.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
And that's why we're stuck at 92K. So I'm here to learn, guys. I'm just an observer.
All right.
But I think having the player coach, just really quick, I think having the player coach is super important, because if you guys are always churning through salespeople, even if it's not often, even if it's like once every 2 years and you have to start again from scratch, if they don't see what's constantly possible when a closer is a 9 out of 10, their belief isn't up to par. They have a lot of limiting beliefs. The onboarding is going to take way longer because they don't have somebody to compare to. And a lot of closers learn by watching and doing. So if you take 50% of it away, which is the watching from a player coach, they're not going to get ramped up as fast at all. And that's why we just jumped in on a bunch of calls. Stevie and I just jumped in on all the SDR sets. So we're taking the harder calls, on paper, harder calls, but it's just something so that we can review with our closer right now and get them ramped up. And even like Dawson said, like, it's awesome to be able to watch us because that's like the other 50% of it. Of course, it's a lot of doing, but like watching is extremely powerful too.
Yeah, if you're not willing, so let's just start off this way. You either hire really good closers out the gate who you snipe from a company, which is obviously going to cost more, and your expectation is that person is going to ramp up so much quicker, kind of like a Kyle Pogue in our situation, which is a more of the type of hires that I like to make. So it's like still training, but faster ramp up time. But in most cases, a lot of agencies and a lot of people watching this might not have the coin to make that decision out the gate. And so you're going more on like a lower end base type of situation. And so with that being said, your level of training, management, player coaching, call audits every single day, even multiple times a day, needs to be there, because you need to realize if this person is currently at like a 4, it's going to take you guys so much longer to get to an 8 and to a 9. And the only way to make that jump from a 4 to a 9 faster is how many times you are auditing training calls together and getting down to the bottom line for ramp up. There's no other secret other than repetitions, just like on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just what we're doing now. And I actually love this shit. I'm finding that it is so fun to realize that like we are taking, I call them motherfuckers, but like they're my boys, we're taking these motherfuckers to the next level, and we're pouring in so much of our time, resources, and skills and getting back in the trenches to make that happen, that like these guys are going to scale up. They are going to be the 6-figure guys. They're going to level the fuck up. But it starts with you as the CEO, the leadership, the sales management training, and the relentlessness on the standards that are going to be had in your agency.
And I have a question here, because for me, for my agency, I feel like we spend all these times building the systems, the processes for the product, right, for the service delivery. And we spend a lot of our time building teams around that. But I feel like it's kind of rare in our space, especially, that people are building real teams and putting that same caliber of effort into the sales piece. And I definitely haven't done that at all. Like, there's no cold callers, there's no SDRs, there's really no sales guys. And so do you feel like that's a big problem in the agency space when it comes to hindering your ability to scale quickly?
No, the reason why, no, because to get to 200K a month, 100K a month, 300K a month, you don't need all these crazy sales ops and trainings and all this shit. Like, you could have just the founder as a closer closing 15, 20 clients a month, to be honest, or having one good closer who you did train. You probably didn't identify all the SOPs because it's the first time doing it. And you guys can fucking get to 100K, 200K, 300K, whatever a month. But it definitely becomes an issue when you're trying to get to that next level, that 8-figure level, hands down, because you need more sales. You need more demos. The higher you are in revenue, the more clients you have, that churn number of people leaving out the back gate is getting bigger and bigger naturally, just a part of growth. And so that sales force needs to be that much stronger as you guys continue to scale. That's the reality. Mm-hmm. And so your team needs to be well-equipped, well-trained, super solid boot camp, SOPs, trainings, which we're building out right now. 6 months from now, when we hire a new closer, we know what we put into this SOP boot camp training, our meeting rhythm, how effective it is in our call audits. Now we know, feed us a closer that's about to go through this new fucking ramp up training SOP bootcamp. Feed us.
So
let's go.
I got another super quick question. This might be a dumb question, but it's something that I've dealt with in my agency is delayed revenue. So we don't charge until the client's ads launch. But obviously we collect credit card information, all that stuff. And do you guys ever have that problem with delayed revenue? Let's say you made 10 sales and then, you know, it's getting to the end of the month and then it kind of takes maybe one client or two, three clients a little longer to launch because they didn't finish all your processes or onboarding. How do you guys deal with delayed revenue? I know Hermosi talks a lot about like collecting at least 50% of the fee up front. I know you guys have setup fees, but is that ever an issue? Do you look at the statements sometimes? You're like, why the fuck are we waiting so long to collect this cash?
Yeah. So in 2023, when we did the math, we probably lost like, it was like right around like $500K in just delayed revenue from like legit charging them on, not charging, like putting the payment date on the actual launch of the ads versus the onboarding call, which is typically like a 5-day difference. And so what we did is just, the contract starts, the payment billing date starts on the onboarding call. And so our goal is, let's launch in 5 days. But the billing cycle did start 5 days ago, like on that onboarding call. And so that obviously eliminates that delayed revenue. Now, the benefit is, you're going to capitalize on a lot more cash. The potential negatives, if you don't have your head screwed on straight, is you need to understand that you're potentially losing an additional 5 days in that month one.
Yep. So
your execution and your speed and wins out the gate needs to be that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, because I see that as a big issue. Hunter, did you ever experience this at Cairo Queens?
No.
Or did you
I would collect the full deposit and sign a contract on the sales call.
And start the billing date started on that date?
Yeah, sorry, I just froze a little bit. Yeah. No. The billing date would start when we went live. Sorry, I know I just paused. I got to check out my fucking Wi-Fi. Hey, if anybody knows the owners of Spectrum, the company, I got a fucking word to put in there. Anyways, no, we would always collect the full setup fee and the month one service fee. It was really, really, really rare that we didn't collect the full thing. And we would like get on our closers and sales team and basically flog them and make fun of them if they weren't able to collect it. I think the only leverage that you have in the sales process is the price and the money. So like, just for example, if you get off a call and somebody knows the price, you've lost all the leverage. Now it's just up to them to buy or not, because that's the only thing that can change. They're not going to come back if they don't want to buy. And the other thing is, after they've decided they want to buy, the only piece of leverage that you can have is money. So you have to collect something, whether it's the setup fee, half the first service fee, like you have to collect something. Otherwise, it's really not a close. And if somebody gives you a credit card and you don't charge any money, I don't know if that card works. I don't know if they have sufficient funds. I don't know if they just gave me a BS card. It's all BS. So like, I just get rid of it. If they're not able to pay on the demo, that's an objection. Like, all right, well, can we do 50%? Can we just do the setup fee?
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, it's not a close until contract's signed and money's collected.
I agree with that.
So I think at Digital Ox, you guys, just to give you like a real life example, on the close, we take our setup fee, $9.95. We book that onboarding call as soon as possible. You know, let's just say 2 days out, 3 days out, obviously whatever works best for the client. On that onboarding call is where the retainer fee is taken, the big retainer fee, and that's when that payment date starts. Instead of onboarding call, take payment, and then 10 days later, if the client's lagging on launch date, now that's the billing date. Dude, you're losing fucking cash. That's advanced though. It's advanced. We just made this decision 3 months ago. So for 5-6 years, we were doing it the way you're doing it, Hayden, which I believe is the best way to do it as a beginner.
I mean, it's nice, but it feels like your closes from the month prior you see kind of the fruits of the labor sometimes in the next month, depending on the client's speed, right? And so I feel like it's something that needs to be changed when it comes to if you're looking to scale quickly. But all right, keep going.
Let's go back to the closers, right? the closers. Now, your closers should have a scorecard. We shared a scorecard in one of the last videos on what that looks like. But to make it stupid simple for you guys, the only KPIs that I care about that are tracked every single month is how many closes and how much MRR was that, right? Second thing is going to be what was your offer to close rate or demo to close rate, meaning you consciously gave them a demo because you thought they were qualified and a good fit for your agency. What's your close rate on a demo to close rate? I don't care about, the close rate from just overall shows. You got to DQ everyone who's qualified. What's that look like? I want to see at least a 50% in our agency. When me and Hunter take these calls, I honestly think it's going to be like 70, 75%, no cap. So that's where I want that. And then show rates, right? So out of the people who booked, what's the show rate? Show rate is important with the automations and everything in the campaigns, but it also has to do with the AE picking up the phone and making the necessary dials and commitments and texting and calling to confirm that appointment. So that is half automation, half human. Those are the only KPIs I care about. You guys should start tracking that too.
I like that.
Yeah, honestly, if people aren't tracking their numbers, they're doomed to fail. 100%. They're just spending money and hoping that shit comes back.
Lastly, let's shout out the SDR team. February, we had 9 closes from SDR, whereas before, we'd maybe have like 4 or 5, just lingering around 4 and 5. And the reason why we're lingering around 4 and 5 is all my fault. It was just poor leadership. It was not poor, it was mediocre from what you guys see, but it wasn't that next level of everything we're talking about now in terms of like auditing calls every day, really training them and like being in the trenches with them, ramping them up quick. Even, we put a good scenario in there. You were there on the call, Hunter. I basically said, if you don't get at least 3 closes a month, then your base, you don't even get your base. So it's just based on the amount of shows you got in commission. And so that combined with the fact that we were in the trenches with them every single day making shit happen, we literally doubled in like 30 days. And so if your team is in a drought or going downhill, before you look at lead quality or you look at all these other factors, look at the leadership, look at the training, look at your culture right now. Like that is going to be usually what the problem is. And that's what the problem was, right? Like we just realized like, dude, we're not going all in. And at scale, guys, every department needs an all in fucking mentality and management and leadership.
I think the team will kind of naturally fall to the level of standards that you set. So we rose the standards and fucking everybody rose. And I think if to compile the last like month of stuff that we did on the sales team, I'll just give everybody some bullet points that they should do. You should have in your company a learning center, a course, whatever you want to call it. Go build it and go high level. Go build it in school. I don't care where. Put call recordings in there, put trainings in there, put industry trainings in there so that they can level up and understand the prospects and the product. Put tons of trainings in there on the product and how it actually works. Get them an expert and have that live inside your company so that you can hire a new closer. And if you want, you could be like, yeah, don't even talk to me for a week. Watch all of this, take notes, and then we're going to start training. So that needs to live. Otherwise, you're training a new person every single time. And I think a lot of people leave the sales team up to just talking. And that's a huge time waster. They just leave it up to training and talking, and that's not good enough. The other things that we changed on
Absolutely.
SDR.
Now hit it on the head.
Yeah. And then the other things that we trained on SDR.
That's all I got. You got any other questions, Hayden? I know you wanted to rip a few little questions.
Am I like fucking freezing here and there?
Yeah, a little bit, but you're good.
I was just going to say to improve the close, the set rate, we just changed a bunch of go high level shit. So if you guys are fucking with the show rate, or the show rate's terrible, just know you just need way more touch points. Just wanted to touch on that. And we put a bunch of really conversational text in go high level.
So Stevie, what do you look for when you're hiring a closer based on your past experience at Digital Locks?
So the first thing I look for is, one, the characteristics, their communication skills, and their ability to build rapport, and almost their ability to like demand respect is what I look for first. The second thing I'm going to look at is their, I mean, it's just as important as one. I want to see track record experience, preferably working in a company that I have respect for, because think about it. If I was doing all the sales from 0 to 400K a month, and I realize that like my results, offer to close rates, and all of this is that good, I'm thinking like, who am I going to hire that I honestly believe is going to be like near me as quickly as possible, and me to be able to get them there as quickly as possible, so that like the show goes on and it's not like this, that we're put in this situation that's not good. So I'm looking for rapport, just the ability to control, call, demand respect. You can find this all in the interviews. Great communicator, experience, been in a company that I respect. And then the cherry on top, which I always talk to Hunter about, is if you can get all those and you can get someone who's literally come from the industry that you are serving, like your clients, I think that is the cheat code, because they already understand the industry, they understand the client, they understand the pain point, they understand all that. Next, great communicator, great rapport, demands respect on calls. Next, has track record of really high results, credible company. I mean, that's the secret sauce. I know it's a little advanced, but
That's it.
that's the secret sauce.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching this podcast. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.